Alright, we are live. Welcome to episode 4 of the OG. This is Germ. That is Gom. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
Not well. How about you?
Yeah, well, fortunately, my loss to Afeto happened a couple days ago, so
Mine's pretty fresh.
Mine's gone. I don't
Pretty
even
fresh.
remember. Yeah, this is we are recording literally less. Well, it's probably been about an hour since Germ
About an
lost
hour.
to Afeto by
Yep.
a couple points.
I was the Chris Rock to his Will Smith.
Yep. Except not in the Joe Daddy meme way, because Afeto was not press bailing him all game.
No, that wasn't the thing. That was not the issue whatsoever.
No, it was not.
It was me throwing to defenders.
Yeah,
and I told I told Afeto this after the game. Obviously, he played a great game. He deserved the win.
He did.
I just
He was his life.
I think just the anxiety of the game building up for 2 days got to me. Literally, my first throw, I threw it into double coverage. I threw it right through somebody.
I saw it.
And then a couple throws later, I did the same thing. Like, I was just, my fingers were anxious, and I don't know. It was just like I was that close to the Super Bowl finally again, and just slipped away from me.
You know, and this is going to be a problem. You're like the more seasons that go between winning a Super Bowl, the more it's gonna, like, the anxiety is gonna.
Oh yeah, that's why it was there, that game. I'm hoping now. Like, I'm like, all right, well, I got my ass kicked last year. Can't get any worse than that.
That is true. At least, like, it's better. I think it's better to have this happen than to, like, say you got, like, almost all, like, to the championship and then lost by, like, a field goal, and you'd be like, oh, I was so close. That was my shot. I had almost made it. At least this way, you can basically look at next year, like.
At least
you didn't come super close.
At least Kittle always carries me to a championship game.
Yeah, and Kittle and Wang will be there for the next couple of years.
Kittle, I was looking it up the other day, and then I never did follow through with it. But I think I've only not made it to a championship game like twice in like 11 seasons with Kittle.
Yep,
something crazy. I'll have to look it up and figure it out.
Yeah, I know, and it is definitely interesting because like look at how good Kittle did in fantasy. Like, we won't talk too much about the fantasy thing, just that we're really glad that Joe Daddy ended up winning number one over MHC. If MHC won his own,
if MHC won his own event when nobody saw him like enter his sheet, that would have been a disaster. So yeah, thank God Joe Daddy won.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for saving.
Because we didn't even see it. MHC was the only one that saw it. I'm sure he'll give like $50 a second place though, right?
Yeah, and we'll wonder what would have happened if we didn't have the receiving stats for running backs if MHC would have won.
Oh yeah. Oh god. I bet if Mustang would have won, because Mustang said he was told that they didn't count. But anyways, yeah, Afeto killed me tonight.
He did.
He just had an answer for everything I tried. He had an answer for, and then the game was just out of hand, and I had nothing left.
Yeah, that game, it looked like he just couldn't, like. That was one of those games. Afeto was just, everything he did was right, even on offense. Like, he wasn't like, even though he had 35 points at halftime, it's not like he was just like airing it out to Paris Campbell. And just
it was just two plays. So I cut it to 7. Like, I thought I was making up for my gaffe because I made the terrible interception. He scored. It was 14-0.
Yeah.
I drove down the field, scored a touchdown, 14-7. I'm like, all right, I'm back.
Yep.
Then he throws a 75-yard touchdown pass where I was cover 3 and nobody covered Campbell. Just didn't see it coming.
The slot streak just torched you right up there. It was a perfect throw.
Then it's 28 or 21-7. I drive down, or I get an interception. I had to punt. I got the interception. I went down and scored. I was like, all right, now I'm ready to roll now. Then Jonathan Taylor, nobody on the left side, because I was the safety. That was the first time I did show blitz that play. I did show blitz. That's the first time I've did show blitz, I think, all season long. And of course, Afeto gets a touchdown on it.
I know. He's like, show blitz. I know.
I knew exactly how to wiggle through the show blitz. That son of a bitch.
Well, it's horrible too, because, like you said, both those things happened like right after.
Yeah, it was right after.
Way back within 7.
It's demoralizing.
As soon as you get within 7, Afeto's like, well, I'm not going to let this happen. And one play, 75 yards, twice in a row. That's tough. I think he did something very similar to me. Every time I would actually get within one score, he would just have this one massive Jonathan Taylor run, 75 yards, to put it 2 scores again. And it's just like, oh,
that's what good teams do. They take away hope. Because if I could have tied it, I usually pick up a little momentum.
Yep.
And he just kept
No,
answering.
he doesn't let you. He doesn't let you tie it. Like
yep.
It's almost like he lets you get close just so he can crush you a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I was definitely crushed.
Like I fully believe that he let me in our game, that he let me get that Kelsey touchdown with just over 2 minutes left, because he knew that he would just run the ball for the next 6 plays and get first downs, with giving me that little bit of hope that I could actually get the ball back and have a chance. And he just was like, no, I'll just crush you. And
and his first drive was like 6 minutes and 20 seconds.
I know. It was yeah, just like small little chunks the whole way to get this first score. It took almost the whole first quarter. And I don't even remember if he punted. Like, he might have punted. I don't think he punted against me either.
He punted one time. It was around because I got a sack with Watts where I blitzed the corner, because I was like, well, if he scores a field goal here, I'm screwed. So I had to blitz just to give myself hope. And
yeah, you never really give Fetto a lot of credit for his offense aside from his run game with JT, but man, like, you look at those last 2 games, he hasn't had to punt at all. Like, and obviously, like, it's not a flashy offense except for JT, but
usually I can keep him in check a little bit on offense.
Yeah, me too.
And
he's playing on top of his game right
like
now.
all day long. All I can think about was like, all right, I got an outside run because I can't run inside on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make it an ugly game, and I just can't make mistakes. I don't want to throw any red zone picks. I got to just kick field goals if I have to.
Yep.
And that game plan died instantly because I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, that first pick was a tough one, because as soon as you
threw it right to him, dude. Yeah, and I meant to do it. I saw him and I threw it to him. And then there's another one later on where I threw it to Waddle. So I just assumed what coverage he was in.
Yep.
And Waddle beats, like, it was, I think he was on a crosser. He was on a crosser or a slant, and he beat the corner. And I didn't even see the safety sitting there. I was staring at that matchup. I never do that. Like, I'm usually much smarter than that. And I was bad, dude.
It happens. And you got to give a Fetto credit.
I did. I told you. He tried to say that there was a lot of Madden in that game. There was no Madden in that game. He destroyed me.
No. Yeah,
he was the better man and beat me up.
Yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, like, obviously the nerves at the beginning, throwing that first pick, going 14-0, and once Fetto gets up 14, he can just play so confidently.
Yeah,
and he did make a mistake. Like, when he threw that pick.
Yeah, that was definitely a mistake, and
that was a huge mistake because he was up 2 scores.
I mean, I did capitalize there, but
you did capitalize. You got the interception. Then a few plays later, you got within 1 score. But then, as you said, he just proceeded to get another touchdown on his first play. So,
yeah. Anyways, let's
congratulations to Fetto. Yeah, congratulations to the other side. As we know, a couple hours earlier, Soup did something equally tumultuous against our beloved Commissioner MHC.
Yeah, he dominated him early, and then MHC was able to fight back, but he just built too big.
It was a very similar game. It was I wouldn't say the game plan was too similar, but the way that this kind of scores went were very similar. Like, just 21-0 because of a couple of mistakes MHC made early, and then it was just MHC clawed his way back to get close. But like you said, Soup was able to maintain the lead, and I think that was probably like what I was saying was I thought that was the hardest defense MHC's had to play this year, and I think it took him a few drives to realize that the plays that had worked against the defenses that he'd been playing that would be successful weren't going to work against Soup. And unfortunately, when it's 21-0, when you realize that after 2 drives or 2 or 3 drives, and it's pretty hard to get back to it. And MHC played phenomenally the rest of the way. Like, I thought he played super smart with what he was doing, and he was just scoring at will on Soup for a lot of the rest of the game. But
yeah,
can't do much when you go down 21, unfortunately, to someone like Soup. And so we got a Fetto Super Bowl.
We do have a Fetto Super Bowl, so we will have either a first-time champ or a 2-time champ.
Yep.
This would be Soup's first this Madden, so we'll have a new champ this Madden, so that's good.
Yep.
Good for parity. The favorites going into the playoffs were Pax and Brock, so everybody thought the Super Bowl would be. MHC had a few votes thinking he might make the Super Bowl, but this pretty much everybody's second favorite in each conference was Fetto and Soup.
Well, I think the Gom curse lived, didn't it? Like, because didn't I say, who did I say it was? Didn't I say Pax MHC and they both got And they both lost?
PAX, MHC. I don't know what you said.
I think it was PAX.
I thought you went PAX Brock.
It might have been PAX Brock, which that works as a curse even better because.
Didn't I call Soup in the, I think I called Soup in the Super Bowl. Didn't I say I was going to go different? I need to start watching my own these things back.
I mean, what the heck?
We need an intern.
I think I did say PAX Brock, and it worked great. They both got eliminated like that round.
That's what's crazy is just looking at the thing here, and I know I was a part of the PAX game, so not tooting my own horn here, but so PAX and Brock lost 98-14.
The Gom curse is so real.
That's insane.
And so that means that whoever I pick for the Super Bowl, sorry. When we get to that point, yeah. I'll you guys. Wow, if we were live, you guys could like bribe me which one of you wants me to not pick you. But
this is so we're going to do another show before next season. So probably I guess next week, probably next Monday or Tuesday after the draft. And this is gonna be a busy off season because Brock's wanting to change it up like crazy. Brock's gonna make some crazy trades. I bet PAX is going to make some crazy trades. He might even trade Zach Wilson. He might have to with these holdouts he has.
He can make a pretty super team.
I have 3 big holdouts myself. I have the most holdouts. So yeah, it's going to be a... And plus, we're getting to the point where there's 2 seasons left.
Yep.
People are going to want to change it up for end game here.
I very likely have one blockbuster trade in the works as well. We'll see how that goes. Oh, look who it is!
The cat is back.
What a surprise!
Gum was over like snapping his fingers off camera.
I was like, "Why are you coming? Why are you coming?
This is your cue." Yeah, so could be a busy off season, but anyways, I don't think I'm gonna make any big trades.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
I don't know. My biggest decision right now is OBJ, and he's a freaking 31-year-old star. Like, that's my biggest decision this offseason.
I'm probably going to make one for sure. That's the likelihood.
So, Afeto Soup.
Okay.
Two guys who... So Afeto... All right, let's look at Soup's playoff run so far. He destroyed Jake. He demolished the champ, Brock. He basically destroyed MHC. I mean, I know MHC came back close, but it was
2 quarters. He destroyed him.
Yeah, I mean, it was out of hand early.
Yeah.
So that's his side. Afeto he beat Tyrant by 14, beat you by 6, but he was kind of ahead that whole game.
Yeah,
just demolished me from the opening 6-minute drive. So both teams have been pretty dominant this playoffs.
Yep, without a doubt. I don't think that. Yeah, like neither of these guys had to claw their way back into winning a game. They basically just got ahead every game right from the beginning. I don't like. Actually, that'd be a good question. Were either of these guys ever behind, even once, in any of their games?
I want to say Afeto was down to Tyrant because I remember putting in the thing that Tyrant was a tough matchup, but I don't. I mean, it would have been really early because he ended up dominating after that.
Yeah. Well, no, and to be fair, I think Feta was down. I did go up 7-3 against him.
You were up. You blew it.
I did that.
How'd you blow that game up 7-3?
Dude, I had played Afeto in week 18. The exact same thing happened. He settled for a field goal. I went and got a touchdown. And then he scored like a touchdown on the next play. Basically, he'd let me be ahead of him for about 10 seconds. No. And then he would just say, no, I let you have a little taste of it now.
Well, that's what he gave
down
me.
Down you go.
Yeah, he gave me a taste too, because like he's been beating me for a while now, and then this season I broke the streak, and then he beats me in the playoffs. And the same exact thing happened in IOM. I beat him over there in the season, and then he knocked me out of the playoffs.
Yeah. So
gotta love Afeto. Anyways,
what do you think?
I don't know, and see, I don't think both of them are playing so good, and they both play similar.
They do.
Both run the ball, both play defense. Neither one of them likes to pass a lot. They can, but that's not their game. Yep. They set up the pass with the run. So I can. This is going to be a low scoring game. I think. I can't imagine it being a high scoring
game. Yeah, I think it'll be a little.
I say that, but I thought mine and Afeto's game was. I honestly thought it was going to be like 21-17 or 24-20. I never thought I'd give 48 points.
It's tough because like if it was two Afetos playing each other, I think, but like Soup's game, like his defense is about turnovers.
Yeah.
And those turnovers can easily be touchdowns, right? Like they can be pick sixes or fumble sixes.
Right.
So it might be low scoring, it might not. To me, I think I'm leaning, like, do you want to make predictions about it now or?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well. We're here.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I will go first and curse the person. And then you can decide if you agree that.
Hang on, before you go, though. We did agree, I believe, second episode. I think we agreed to not pick Afeto. Just because of the pressure he puts on himself to finally win his first AGS championship. Are we going to switch and put the pressure on him?
Well, considering that he just beat both of us, I don't think we owe him very much.
That's true. We owe him nothing. You're right.
I think he's all the goodwill that we had for him. He's basically just destroyed on his way by crushing us thusly. So I don't think we have to honor that promise anymore. And to that, I actually do have to pick Afeto. I'm taking Afeto, and this is the reason. I just think that he matches up better against Soup than Soup does against him, because Soup has been winning his games with defense and running the ball with Chris Carson up the gut. Like there's been some outside stuff, but Carson is a power runner that's just like grinding out yards. And really, I think Afeto's team is built to stop what Soup likes to do. Because he's got the double stuff. You just can't run up the gut against Afeto and be successful. Like you'll get some runs here or there, but more or less with double stuff, you have to run outside and you have to be able to pass the ball. And I don't think Soup has been really having to do that.
No, he hasn't needed to pass at all. He was up like 20 on MHC, and I think he was like, threw like 5 passes.
Yeah, and he wasn't really doing that successful when he had to throw passes. Like I think MHC picked him off a couple times when he was trying to do it. And Afeto will definitely pick him off if he tries to do those throws. So I think that he just matches up really well. It'll really come down to if Soup is able to make JT fumble, because that's going to be the only way I think that Soup can really stay in this one and win it, is if he can force some fumbles with JT, because I don't think Afeto's necessarily going to have to pass that, isn't going to have that much success passing against him either.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, I think it's going to be low scoring, but I think Afeto really just matches up better because he can run a little bit better with JT, because Soup doesn't have those defensive abilities to shut him down. So my pick is Afeto, and I'm going to go 20-10.
20-10?
20-10.
Oh, 20-10.
Yeah.
So I said it wouldn't be high scoring. Your score indicates it wouldn't be high scoring. These two did play each other this year, and Afeto won 45-41.
Well, there you go. People, I think, play a little bit more conservative in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure.
As after all these massive scoring games.
And I think at that time, I think Afeto or Soup was on like a drought, maybe before or after that game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in that game, just looking at it, Soup lost by 4. Soup threw 40 times. If Soup throws 40 times in this game, it's because he's losing by 20.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He only ran the ball 13 times with Carson.
Yeah, you forget that Russell Wilson had those 6 touchdown games earlier this season that resulted in cooldowns. So Soup can pass the ball if he has the game that he needs.
Jonathan Taylor had 178 yards. Yeah.
So Afeto is consistent with what he does.
Yeah, and he only threw 20 times, which is that's a recipe.
That's the Afeto's recipe.
That used to be my recipe. Stopped winning the big games. Yeah, I agree that Afeto is a tougher matchup for Soup than vice versa. I don't want us to both agree on the same pick, but he did just kick both of our asses, so I don't think we have a choice but to pick him.
Yeah.
I'll go Afeto 31-21.
Okay, that's a little bit. That's nice in between the two games.
Yeah,
that's good.
31-20. All right. Anyways, so that'll do it for the playoff predictions. Now it's time for the top 100.
We've all been waiting so long, and here it is.
I've spent so much freaking time on this.
Yep. Germ doesn't want any AGS bucks for doing this. He was so happy.
I don't spend them anyways. Like that's what MHC said. I had 100 left over from last year. I don't ever spend them. I mean, I guess I might this year. Since Wangu can finally be re-rolled.
I know. Now he can roll. If only you can roll him like 5 times.
Yeah, can I just keep rolling him until he gets every good ability? So real quick, I'll go over some of the. So on the form I sent out a form to everybody. On the form, I wanted everybody to keep in mind the following: players' current stats, players' impact during the game, whether it shows up on the stat sheet or not. So some guys like dominant corners don't really show up sometimes on the stat sheet. The players overall and their abilities, and the importance of the player to their teams. And on the forms that I sent out, I want everybody to pick the 5 best players across the league, then 20 more good players across the league that were not on their own team, and then pick their own MVP, their own offensive best player, defensive best player, 2 other players. So that's how we got to the list. I did not edit the list or anything. It is based on everybody's input. So what do you, before we dive into it here, do you think there's more offensive players or defensive players?
I'm going to say probably there's going to be more offensive players. And I'm only going to say that because I don't think defensive line gets too much love outside of inside stuff anymore. If this had been previous Maddens where you had like pass rush as a real dominant thing for Madden,
God, I hope that's back next year. Please.
I would say defense, but as is, offense is really where the money is being made to a much greater degree. So we'll see if I'm right. I literally do not know the picks, so I'm not like saying these things to seem wise, even though I already
I'm so wise.
So
the cat's like, what? You're not wise?
Yeah, it's like what?
So unfortunately, and I won't name them right now, we can figure it out later. 5 teams did not have a player on the top 100.
Oof.
5. Oh, all right, let's just dive into it. We can go over the rest of the numbers later. All right, so starting off here. Here is numbers 91 through 100. So barely sneaking in at the last spot was Rasheem Stamper, rookie linebacker for the Giants. And he had a great year, too. Like, I was shocked that he had to sneak in, and there's the cat.
Yep. Well, sneak in. Yeah, he's like, Stamper. I don't know. To me, like, I don't really give any of the rookies, like, I don't think any of the rookies really deserve to be top 50 in my mind, unless they were, like, the next Parsons, which maybe there's 1 or 2 that are really good, but I don't care. I think 3 seasons in to give a rookie something where you're going to say he's already one of the best ever, they have to be pretty special. And while Stamper's been good, I don't.
Well, I mean, it is for this season. It's not for the whole.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
To me,
yeah. It's for this season, like right now, technically. So Michael Pierce made it, so Gorilla will be happy about that. He had 15 tackles for loss, so he had a big season. We've got 3 different O linemen in here, 2 from Pax's crazy starting 5 O linemen.
Well, and I think that's the thing with the Jets O linemen is they probably cancel each other out on votes. So I mean, if you were gonna say the Jets O line as a top player, you probably have them in the top 10. If you had if they were combined,
that's true.
Because they're all separate,
that's
they probably mixed up the votes.
Kareem Hunt had a crazy season. 2,100 yards, 17 touchdowns, and he's number 92.
There you go.
The disrespect.
Yeah.
$4. Paris Campbell sneaks in. He only played 14 games this season, which I guess I didn't even know he got hurt. Why couldn't he get hurt for the playoffs? That would have been nice.
I know, right? I know. Well, I tried to injure somebody in week 18, but Beto just refused it.
I snook Jabril Cox in there.
Oh, nice.
He's been a nice pickup for me from Flappy.
I bet you we won't see Javin White anywhere, even though he probably had a better season. But
who cares? Okay. Who cares? All right, let's skip down to the next 10 here.
Yeah. Oh, another Dolphin, Javon Holland, the
81 through
superstar.
90. Yep, Javon Holland, who rises up to superstar. And also put their star and blah, blah, blah beside him. I think I got all those accurate. I had to correct a few of them.
So I think I would think that Javon Holland should be higher than Noah Igby because Igby is not a superstar.
Yeah. well, now. God, it makes me so mad. 28 deflections.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. Hopefully Holland gets some god abilities. I don't have even looked to see what's available for him. Probably nothing. Well, he'll probably get returned, man.
Well, just look at me with Justin Reed getting so far, Justin Reed got strip specialist and lumberjack. So
So Benjamin Maker is a sneaky one in here. So he was a rookie and he didn't really have that great of a season. I was pretty surprised when he kept winning all those people kept putting his name down.
Maybe
he had a fine season.
Because Baker is like a
maybe they thought it was Jerome Baker, the other Buck.
that Baker, yeah.
Cal Fuller had 33 deflections. He ended up going up to superstar.
Yeah, the ex-Dolphins, lots of Dolphins.
Matthew. V-Bank's one of the best defensive players in this league. He's unbelievable, and Matthew's a big part of that.
Yeah, he was.
10 picks, 12 deflections. Chase Winovich snuck on here. 13 and a half sacks for not really, he has no dominant attributes or anything.
No.
So 13 and a half sacks from him is
that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
And then Bates for the Bengals, stuck in our horrible division. It's pretty good, getting 14 deflections there.
Yep, AJ Terrell had a good season for Leaky. I don't think he was expecting him to make it, but he did.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. And
of course, another O-lineman. I'm a little surprised Humphrey didn't have a very good season there. 6 interceptions, 7 deflections, and that's Tyrant's best corner.
Well,
kind of surprised me that his numbers were so low.
I think he's a guy that he's so good that people just avoid him, so he don't get good stats.
Yeah,
that's why I put that in the thing. I didn't want people to just put guys based on stats because some of these dudes are, they're just really good, so you avoid them.
Well, that's very fair. I remember it was either last season or the season before. I threw an RPO slant against Humphrey, and he just jumped it coming out of nowhere to pick the slant. And I was like, well, that's the last time I'm throwing at Humphrey. Because when I threw it, I was like, this is open. It was not. So that makes sense.
And that's what's crazy is he only had 6 picks. I feel like every time I watched Tyrant play, Humphrey was getting a big pick.
Yeah.
Every single time.
That's what I mean. So
all right. Next 10 here, 71 through 80.
All right. So a couple more old linemen on here, and it looks like our quarterbacks are starting to arrive.
Quarterbacks are and Falk, who had a terrible playoff game and has been told he is not returning to the Saints.
Well, he had 1/3 of the ints in that game that he did in the playoff or in his whole season. So
that's true. That is true.
How about that? 10 interceptions in a playoff game for Falk. But if you're going to lose, you might as well do it in style. So.
Yeah, that's what I said. People were teasing Pax after I beat him real bad. I was like, look, loss is loss. It don't matter how it happens. I just got killed. Loss is a loss. Hollywood sneaks on here, I think, just because of the speed factor. He didn't have a great season at all.
Yeah, I think the speed factor gets you votes.
Speed and name.
Yep.
And on Tyrant squad.
Yeah.
Daryl Worthy, another Giants young stud. What pick was he in the draft? Was he second round? Or was he an early pick?
I feel like he might have been a second rounder. I don't know. I guess I could look it up, but
I'm looking it up. Go ahead and continue.
Okay. Well, the next one is just kind of disgusting that it's even there. Javelin Guidry.
Hey, no. If he was on my team, he would have been there 2 years ago.
I know. Those who don't know, 2 years ago, Jerem had Guidry. Or was that last Madden?
It was last Madden.
Yeah, that was last Madden. And so Jerem just used Guidry into 10 sacks a year because he had 96 speed.
He didn't have 10 sacks. He'd have 5 or 6. But he had 5 or 6 sacks. He'd always have
pretty much every
picks.
game I watched that you played, you sacked somebody with Guidry just because.
Well, I mean, hey, put a running back in block.
I know, that's true. And so clearly he's still getting that name recognition.
Worthy
because of what Sherm did.
Worthy was picked 13th in the first round, I believe.
Okay.
And he is 93 speed, 94 man coverage, 85 zone coverage, 83 press. He's got flat zone KO and medium route KO.
Wow.
And he's a 23-year-old X Factor that's 90 overall. What a stud. I
love it.
What a stud.
Yep.
And he's 5'9". He's a tiny boy.
And Najee Harris at the bottom, and I'll tell you, because I have to play this guy twice a year, he is freaking awesome. He's like probably one of the top 3 or 4 running backs that I face. Like just for trying to stop him is almost impossible. He's like basically Nick Chubb in what he does. He just bowls through everybody the whole game. It's just crazy.
He is a stud. Chris Carson had 1,900 yards, 17 touchdowns for the NFC representative in the Super Bowl. And the other Raven, who didn't really have a great season. Well, I bet Tyrant would be surprised that Steele was on here.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, because Tyrant was fully splitting his reps with his running back.
Yeah.
Because he got his rookie, what's his face? I don't remember his name, but he basically split their time nice right down the middle, 50-50. So, and Steele was purely the runner, not getting any receptions. So yeah, I'm a little surprised he got this high on this one, just based on the fact that he wasn't even a full-time player. But because especially like, can you really say that Steele should be above Chris Carson? I don't see any way that Chris Carson
still shouldn't be above anybody on this list.
No,
or on this page.
No, so we'll just put a little asterisk by that. Say this shouldn't be. But.
And Jalen Hurts is one of the few normals that made it. I guess him and
Guidry.
Thuney is the only non-superstar O-lineman on here. So JT carried him to the list.
Yep. Thanks, JT.
I actually thought he was a superstar until this list. So I was looking at everything. Because I kept seeing people put his name, and I was like, well, he's got to be superstar.
Yep.
He wasn't. All right, next 10 here. 61 through 70.
And our first Brown.
Yeah, Cisco.
Good old Cisco.
A lot of deflections. How do you get... Oh, that's because you'd run that 46. That's how he snuck in 5 sacks, probably.
Yeah.
Out of some weird packages.
Well, you remember that 46 blitz that I like to use. That he's the blitzer on that one. So
yeah.
He gets some sacks.
It worked 5 times for sure, at least.
At least 5 times.
There's Noah Fant, who's destined to always be star.
Yep. Forever star. Ty Johnson, only 68. I would have thought he would have been a lot higher because I guess people just figure that Pax is going to win anyway.
You're running behind 5 superstar linemen. To only have 1,900 yards is kind of terrible.
That's true. Well, that's because he had like Mims and DK getting like 70-yard touchdowns to stop you from getting more running yards.
Yeah. Queen had a great season. Bush had a great season. Bush had 22 tackles for loss. Nobody hits the hole like a rocker.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook would have been even better if he hadn't been suspended. Or no, it wasn't Cook who was suspended. Wasn't it the quarterback that kept getting suspended?
Yeah, I think so.
It was. I don't think Cook ever got suspended.
I think didn't he have a cool down that he had to do? I think he had a cool down early, didn't he?
It was the opposite. Is that we kept having the cool downs because he wasn't getting his 10 rushes.
I know, but I thought he did have a cool down because he had a 25 carry game before we changed that rule.
Did he? That would be funny.
Yeah. only intel. Anyway, Dalvin Cook is way too low on this list. He's a monster.
Yes. I know he is, and I mean you don't have his or you do have his total yards.
All the running backs. I just put total yards in these.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook is 50% of his offense. Like if you include the passing game, like he's probably
especially
after the catch, he's so deadly. Yeah,
yeah, and after the final warning for intel, he's made it he's making an extra effort to get.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Cook has a pretty good year next year now that Intel's kind of, I think, finally wisened up about running the ball.
Might have 3,000 yard Dalvin Cook
next
year. Bobby Wags only had 2 forced fumbles. Pretty weak, to only have 2.
Well, that is pretty weak.
Probably because Jamal Adams was causing them all, and he missed him.
I guess so. That's crazy. It's only 2. Yeah. Because you know that there's so many sticks happening that game. Well, we'll see how many Jamal Adams has when we get up to him, because he's obviously going to be higher on this list.
Now, Von Miller makes it as one of the few edge rushers.
Because you can be an edge rusher and have success if you're a handful of people.
Yeah. And Terry McLaurin. It's weird. So McLaurin wasn't even the football team's best receiver, but he makes the list just because his X factor.
Just because.
I mean, he does, like, even though he didn't have that great of numbers, and same thing for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Their numbers might not have been great, but you know the defense is thinking about them.
Oh yeah.
Like, even when they're not doing anything. Like, that's how I feel with Waddle. Where Waddle had a good season this season, but last couple I didn't really like go crazy with him. But the other team's still thinking about him.
Yeah.
So, all right, next 10 here. 51 through 60. So 60 is your boy.
So Mecole Hardman.
Mecole sneaks on here.
Yeah, a decent year. Gave me balance. Brought balance to the force.
Bad when 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns is decent.
Well, he wasn't top 5 in the league.
Yep. Jerome Baker, who he was part of the Vita Vea trade. I mean, that trade's worked out for both of us.
That's the Baker I think everyone was voting when they were thinking.
Yeah, when they saw the other.
And then Mr. Inside Stuff on the Dolphin.
Manny Rudolph, who's
probably
been a monster.
Germ's greatest draft pick in his history. Right there.
Minus Archambault, yes. He might even be better than Archambault.
I think he's better than Archambault. You can't really, like, Archambault is just a little speed horse.
I listed him on here as a defensive tackle, even though he's a defensive end. He technically does play defensive end for me because I play 3-4.
Germ plays him out of position like a cheese ball.
No, I play 3-4, and I play him at defensive end sometimes, but I will move him inside since he does have inside stuff. Why wouldn't I use it? So, Marcus Hayden, who just runs the ball. He don't like to catch it ever.
Nope.
I think he still had a couple of yards though, receiving.
Another O-line for Seahawks. Becton helping Chris Carson get his yards. That was, of course, the big trade where Becton and Claypool for DK. That was the big trade with Pax that has got Soup into the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
he won. It looks like he's won that trade.
Yeah, that trade has worked. I think that trade worked out well for both. I mean, everybody goes crazy just because you give a great passer like Pax DK, who's second or third best weapon on the game, receiving weapon.
Yeah, it worked out great for both. But because Pax still got his offensive line as superstar anyway.
Yeah,
so he didn't lose anything out of it, and Soup doesn't really need DK the same way. Like, he's fine with Claypool because he got himself to the playoffs, and you don't even ever hear about Claypool.
Yeah,
when you're talking about Soup, like once in a while he'll do something crazy, and it's like, oh yeah, Soup, that's Claypool.
Right.
But
Stallworth, who was the first pick in the draft that V-Bank traded up to get, he ended up having an amazing year, even though everybody made fun of him for his because he was only a normal.
He was only normal, but he's star now, so
he got a story during the season, and
unsurprising with those numbers that he got a story.
So when I played him in the wild card, the first quarter it was just hit stick after hit stick by V-Bank, and Stallworth kept blowing me up behind the line of scrimmage, and I finally was like, all right, I have to mic him every single time, and after I did that, I was able to run the ball much better. But I definitely had to make an adjustment to run the ball around him.
V-Bank is definitely of that mold of the Guitar Hero boys that we have a handful of in the AFC.
Yeah, I found that out pretty quick in our game. Yep. Christian McCaffrey, who's still one of the best overall running back, or probably the best overall running back on the game.
And I think if Taste was like super devoted to, like he does when he comes on in every few weeks or so, and he has this moment of intensity, if he was like that the whole season, McCaffrey would probably be a top 10, top 15 guy.
Yeah, I agree. And like this season, we got to see a little bit of that from Taste. I think he won 7 or 8 games this season.
Yep.
Maybe he's getting back to what he was at the end of Madden 20 before the reboot.
Let's hope so, because
when he tries, he's pretty good.
Yep. Even could he be? You might even say he's better than his brother, but unless he plays, we'll just never know.
We'll never know. Plus, we've never seen them in the same room.
Yeah.
Tua breaks my heart to see that he's doing well, but he is. So here's what's funny. I didn't even think about this till just now on this page. So I traded Tua for a second round pick after the first season, or during the first season, whatever it was. Second, I don't know. Before the first draft, and the pick that I got for him that second round was Manny Rudolph, and both of them are right here on this page.
There you go.
Yep.
I would do that trade any day of the week to get Rudolph, though.
Well, I mean, at the time it was just a draft pick.
Yeah, but that sure worked out because you don't.
Yeah, really I mean, I'm very happy with the trade still.
Yeah.
We've got Streeter. Yeah.
Yep.
He might end up on a trade. Who knows? With the way Brock's going.
Yeah, and because I think he was a holdout this year, right? I can't remember.
I don't think so. Maybe he was. I don't remember.
Maybe I don't remember. I thought he just got superstar.
All I know is I have 3.
That's true. And then Ramsey, who I don't know, that might be a name recognition one, but
well, I mean, he was one of my 20 guys I put just because you can't throw at him.
Yeah, I know.
He's the most dominant corner in the game.
Yep.
You can't throw at him. So that's why he has 2 ends, because nobody throws at him.
Yep.
All right. Now we're entering the top 50. We're going to go one by one.
1 by 1.
Number 50. Quentin Nelson.
99 overall. Shoo.
I was a part of the Daniil Hunter trade.
I love the clip from Mustang there.
Oh yeah, I forgot we have these. So this one was actually my favorite. So all the top 50 guys, I was going to only do this for a couple guys.
Yeah.
And then I kept getting them. So I was like, all right, well we've got like 12 left. Let's just go ahead and finish this. And most of them are going to be Mustang, and all of Mustangs are a little tongue in cheek.
Nice.
But yeah, so let's trade for the best run blocking at will, and almost get kicked out of the league for not. It's incredible. Anyways, yeah, Quentin Nelson's still the best. He's the best offensive lineman in the game. Him and Mekhi Becton, I believe, and those are the top 2 linemen in our top 100. So the league seems to.
Yep.
All right. Number 49, Kevin Byard.
Yeah, and that's Skittle had a little bit of a struggle this year because he had some other games that kind of overtook him, and he wasn't the thrilling, streaming, glorious Skittle that we all know and love. So Byard still putting up pretty good numbers is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he had a great season, and 12 tackles for loss, 11 ints. Tyrant sent a little thing in despite the lack of overall team success. Byard is the backstop the Titans' defense is built around his ability to cover the entire deep half of the field while also providing crushing runs. Cements him as much. This is what I meant by the we've got some that are funny and some that are serious.
Some that are out of a newspaper. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
move on to 48. CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah, so he had a decent season. Another safety for the Saints.
The Brocs. Elite put on there Marcus Williams, CJ Gardner-Johnson are 2 of the best at their craft and will ball hawk any offense in their way unless it's the Falcons.
Oh, poor guy.
Elite doesn't hit that drum too many times, does he?
No.
Poor Brock.
No.
But yeah, he does have pick artist, good coverage abilities, 94 overall. And
yep.
Your safety tandem now. Yours and Brock's 2 safety tandems are definitely the best in the league.
Well, for now. We'll see.
Oh, God. Here you go with your trade. Oh, I don't even know what it is. All right.
DK is number 47.
DK Metcalf.
And if Pax wanted to, he could have probably made him number 1. But
yeah, I think if you asked everybody after that trade was made and he got DK, and then we did a top 100 the following season, where would you expect DK to be? I don't think anybody would guess he'd only be 47.
Well,
I think everybody assumed he'd be at least top 15. Which means next year he's going to be.
I think he probably will be. Like, honestly, I thought he'd have a bigger year this year just because Mims no longer needed to be down. But I think this was a Ty Johnson year. And really X Factor is not something you really ever have to worry about. Unfortunately, in this league, like everyone's like, X Factor's I think it's the most expensive thing to buy an AGS box, which is really kind of silly because it's just
it really only matters on quarterbacks.
Yeah, like I mean, you get
maybe a corner
from time to time. Like one of the wide receivers, if you get double me, it's great because then you can throw and win every one-on-one. But
yeah,
aside from that, yeah, like getting X factor is nowhere near as important as getting superstar on a player. So I don't know. I don't think we'll ever see that completely dominant season from DK that Pax could put up if he wanted to.
I don't know. So, Pax did promise the other day that he was going to go back to air raid backs.
Yeah, well, he could, but we'll see. I mean, because he does like have a tight end that could, if he had a superstar in him, that would just make his whole team disgusting.
He hasn't really used the tight end though.
No, he doesn't. But he's I think he's a fast boy. So I mean,
he's definitely a fast boy. I mean, everybody thought he would once he got him.
Yep.
All right, 46.
Next up,
Jair Alexander.
Ooh, that's a little lower than I thought he'd be.
Well, his stats aren't great, but I mean, look at his freaking attributes.
Well, and I think it's.
Oh, did you see? Like, speaking of Acrobat, did you see like the first or second play of the game? Acrobat screwed me again.
Yeah, I did.
He dove behind the receiver. Why can't I get one? I just want one. I have to re-roll it. It's never worked for me. Anyways, continue.
You can't re-roll it. You never know if they're gonna do a patch and all of a sudden it'll be great again. And I have seen Acrobat work great for MHT.
I've seen it work for everybody but me.
Why don't you just trade me? Who's the guy you have that has Acrobat?
Howard.
See, why don't we just trade Howard for Newsom?
Or, yeah, I'm done with that.
Hold on. I have to look.
That sounds fun. Anyways, this dude's 99s across the board almost.
Well, and I think this is another example. People probably just start throwing at him because MAC doesn't have two superstar corners yet. So
yeah, there's no way I would never.
Why would you throw at Jair?
If I'm in his division or in the NFC and I play him every year, there's no chance I'm throwing at Jair Alexander.
No. Mustang's comment's awesome. Best cover 4 corner in the league. It's awesome.
All right, 45. Minka Fitzpatrick and Mustang. But in case you didn't know, Leak traded for Minka.
Did he? I didn't know Leak had Minka. He never talks about Minka ever.
Oh, gotta love it.
Oh yeah, Minka's dominant. I remember when I had Minka. I think it was it last man or the man before? I just remember I had Minka back there. I traded for him. He became so good.
He was even more dominant last season. If we did this last season, he might be top 15.
Yep.
Because he had.
Oh, I know. Like you threw it anywhere near him, he would.
He had 13 picks last season.
Yeah.
But still a great season.
Yep.
Good enough for 45. That's about where I expect him to be.
Yeah.
Maybe a little higher. All right, 44. Darren Waller. Here's one that would have been top
This is
5
name
last
recognition.
Year.
This is, I think, a name recognition pick. I think it was like looking at what he did last year. And to be fair, I don't know if a lot of people necessarily knew 100% that you were only talking about only this season. They might have thought the 3 seasons combined, potentially.
Maybe. I mean, even then, though, it's still a top 5 tight end season.
Oh, yeah. Like, he still was good. He just wasn't. Like,
I think he still should be top 100, maybe in like the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. He had like a standard season for a good tight end at this point. So, of course, our next number 43 is Germ's boy, Jalen Waddle, who is on the Dolphins.
Space that out.
We'll see. And I don't want to be Pax's. I don't want to be the next Tyreek Hill. I only want to be Jalen Waddle. And now they're teammates in Miami. So
yeah, that's funny.
That's going to be fun. A
little foresight there. Waddle did have his best season with me. And this shows how little I pass the ball, or how little skilled I am at passing the ball. He only had 8 touchdowns.
Hey, they're right now they're the same speed, right? Tyreek Hill is not 99 speed. He's only 98 in the game right now. So they're the same player.
Yep. All right. 42. Your boy.
Myles Garrett.
Those two went head-to-head in the thing. Remember when I sent out a few head-to-heads? That was one of the head-to-head battles, and Garrett barely beat him. I think he beat him by like 1 vote.
Okay. Well, I will say Garrett is the only edge rusher that I really think is capable of doing anything in this game, and even then, he only does it from time to time.
The fact that he's so good and he's only 42 shows you how little edge matters in this Madden.
Yeah, because he's basically the best at every, like, you look at 98 power moves, like he should be just crushing every defensive end that he sees.
No.
With because and he is technically a guy that I could move to defensive tackle if I wanted to be cheesy, but it just seems so disgustingly unsim to do that I can't bring myself to do it. So
entire agree. But he provides a suffocating element to the run defense and averages double-digit sacks with edge threat, including multiple sacks.
Yep.
He is a stud for sure. Imagine if we had Madden 20 and those attributes on Myles Garrett, he'd be number 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, 41, Russell Wilson.
Well, you throw a bunch of 6 touchdown games, you better be in the top 50. So
he did throw a couple.
And he had a great year, and man, like that escape artist, like I watched him in that game today, and it's just like, he's got the true escape artist, like, because when he just takes off, he's gone. He's like, get away from it instantly. So,
which Rockris said, Russell Wilson is an anti-sack machine. You could have 3 guys coming free, and he's going to get the ball off quickly or outrun all of them, and there's nothing you can.
Yep, it's true.
He had one play. It was pretty early in the game against MHC, where he scrambled to the right and threw like cross-bodied down the field, and I was like, "That's such a Russell Wilson play."
Yeah. Well, you and I had several games back in a previous Madden where I did lots of those things to you with Russell Wilson, and you loved every one.
I was still good back then, so I allowed it.
But honestly, I think Russell Wilson versus Buckner is going to be probably the biggest matchup of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. That's another thing, man. I didn't even run play action or anything. I was just I did not play my game at all. Anyway, all right. Anyways, 40. Yeah. Get out of there. Your guy, Justin Reed. 2 of those picks were me.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That got him his superstar, very likely, that one game. So
could be. Browns run a defense that allows Reed to truly roam free, going from 3 and 2 interceptions in his first 2 seasons to an astounding double-digit interception total in his 3rd season.
It's astounding. Although the second season,
what was your trade for him?
It was an O lineman. It was one of
Teller.
One of Pax's 5 O line.
Wyatt Teller.
Pretty sure it has something to do with that. I don't remember.
It has to be Browns.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was something or along those lines. I gave him some safety, and he gave me. I don't think I took an O-line back. I forget what it was, but it was basically those 2 guys.
Gom's safety school is back. 2 top 100 safeties.
Well, that's the fact, is that, those 11 interceptions, I don't think Justin got very many of them on his own. So,
yep. 39, Saquon Barkley.
He's always dominant.
He's always dominant. Thankfully, he got hurt against me in quarter number 6, I think, of my games with Pink.
Yep.
Mustang said he can actually last full seasons in Madden.
Whoops.
Yeah, he said that, but Barkley did get hurt. He missed.
I know.
He forgot about that. I'm the one that hurt him. He missed 3 or 4 games.
That's funny.
Poor guy. Anyways, yeah, great all-around running back in Madden still. Next season, he's going to be brutal next Madden.
Oh,
it's not brutal. It'll still be good, but it'll be like 86 overall,
yeah, probably. I don't even know if they'll give him X Factor. They might make him a superstar. We'll see.
Maybe. I need to be star. All right, 38. Marshawn Lattimore. He was one of the 25 I put on mine, or 20.
Oh, me too. Yeah. I just remember, obviously, Lattimore in our Super Bowl.
He made me
and Brock's last year. Yeah. I'm not gonna even deny the fact that my vote for Lattimore was very much due to last season.
Well, I mean, I had
because Lattimore destroyed me in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, like it just couldn't touch him. Like Schwartz was just dominated by Lattimore the entire game. So he's probably one of my top 5 corners, even only having superstar.
Yeah, Lattimore was on mine for sure.
Yeah.
He had, I think, So Reed picked me off twice. Lattimore picked me off twice.
There you go.
But Baker spread the love around a lot this season.
All the top 50 defense has picked off Germ twice.
Probably. I know for a fact he did. But he was doing the same thing to me. Like we couldn't. Our defensive backs just like owned that game. Neither one of us wanted to throw.
All right, number 37.
37, Mr. Zeke.
Zeke moving over from Leak to Mr. Gorilla.
Yeah, everybody left him for dead. Now here he is, being reborn in Jacksonville. This was the guy that could have been my running back, but the trade got vetoed back when the league started.
Yeah, and I think if anything ever happened to Chris Godwin, you can almost double those numbers.
Probably. Tyrant said he was underutilized by the Cowboys and the Falcons. Jaguars literally took Zeke and ran away with him. At season's end, he'll be just short of 2K rushing yards. I think tacklers think twice about making contact with him.
Right. So Tyrant wasn't too far off. He didn't quite get to the 2K, but I think that was in large part that he was taking second take a backseat to Godwin for a lot of the games at the end there. I think Gorilla had moved away from the rush game a little bit
well, still he had 800
to make sure he made and he made the playoffs, so it was a good play.
Yep.
All right, number 36. Another running back
trade.
Nyheim Hines. So he moved around a little bit and finally landed with the Packers, which is perfect for his style because he's got. Who wouldn't want to be a running back when you got Rodgers, Cooper, and Adams out there?
Yeah, he's definitely got a made in the shade in Green Bay.
Yeah, and MHC he's perfect for how MHC runs the ball too, like with because MHC likes to do a lot of outside runs, and Himes is so deadly with those and in the passing game. So
yeah. Another player I thought I was going to get before I ended up with Nwangu.
Yep.
Like a month before, like right after we picked teams, I was already in a Feddo's DMs.
Oh, I expect that. I remember when you had Hines either last year or the year before, so I was like, "Well, he's definitely
in the reboot
Hines.
When I had the Jets. Hines was my best player.
Yep.
All right, 35, Mr. Cox. I don't even know how this one happened. And Mustang put on their Cox is only here because McGee filled out a sheet, which I laughed at. But yeah, like he was on McGee's thing, I believe, and then he kept getting votes, so he ended up at 35 and didn't really have he had a good season. I mean, 11 tackles for loss, 12 sacks. It's a good season.
He had more sacks than Myles Garrett, but of course he's a defensive tackle, so
exactly.
All right,
34, Mr. Pitts.
Leakland.
Here's a guy who he should have 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. Come on, Leak.
Yep. I know, already X Factor, red zone threat. He should definitely have more than 8 touchdowns. It's a little bit of a surprise. Like you'd think you'd accidentally got up to 10 just for tries, but
and Mustang once again with a sly comment. He may or may not be up for trade. Check again tomorrow.
Yep.
On again, off again trade block for Leak. All right, 33.
Oof.
Lamar.
Only 33.
Jackson.
And that just kind of tells you I think Tyrant's lack of playoff, and you can't even really say the lack of playoff success because I mean he's got to the championship last year, and Lamar is.
Well, I think some people just look at the passing numbers and then they don't. Not that they don't look at the rushing yards, but they don't think of. I mean, he makes you change your whole freaking game plan.
Well, yeah,
somebody's on spy the whole game. Has to be.
Yeah,
and that allows for the rushing yards for the running backs to be so high.
I gotta think. Like I could not personally not have Lamar in my top 10 unless he's with somebody who just absolutely doesn't know how to use him at all and just uses him like a pocket passer.
No,
and maybe, but he is 100% like tons of like he makes up Tyrant's team. To me, he's a top 10 player.
Yeah, and the Rocker had a little PTSD on his. For the entire game, you could put a spy on Lamar, but with 1 minute left in the game, down 4 with no timeouts, this man will say, fuck it, and break for an 80-yard touchdown run on one play. Or Rocker.
Yeah, I know it. I faced this guy twice a season, and you really you put contain and a spy on him every game, every play, and he's still gonna get value for 50 yards once no matter what. So
yeah.
32.
32, Joey Bosa. 97
another
overall,
edge player.
99 finesse. Yeah, he's another edge.
Yeah.
Look at 14 and a half sacks. Well, how come you can't do that, Myles Garrett?
Well, because life sucks, I guess. Well, Myles Garrett had a lot more TFLs too, but yeah, like Bosa. I remember we looked at Bosa a couple of seasons ago and he didn't have a single TFL.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how is that even possible? How do you accidentally not get a TFL with a defensive end in an entire season? But here he is, number 32. So
Pace can write you a full report on why TFLs don't matter for a defensive end.
Yes, he can.
Bosa's pissed Koopa can't win just one more game.
Yep.
Koopa keeps missing the playoffs by only one or two games.
Damn the AFC.
31, Deion Jones, another leak. Well, I think it's the last of the leaks.
Last of the leaks.
Last of the leaks.
Yeah, Jones makes Brock see ghosts.
Poor Brock.
And Jones got his X factor, I think, this offseason. So
I mean,
Leaks
Jones,
happy about that.
He is an unbelievable all-around. I mean, 150 tackles, 15 for loss, 14 deflections, 4 rounds. He's everything you want.
He's what JOK could be if he ever got superstar. But because I have a safety player, it'll probably never happen.
Probably. Number 30, my boy, Vita Vea.
Vita Vea. That was a great trade for you, getting Vita Vea. Or was that a free agent
lyrics or something? Our tribe is about power. We stay hungry. We devour.
Yeah.
Oh,
did you trade for him or did you sign him as a free agent?
No, that was I traded for him. I got him and I traded Jerome Baker.
Yep.
That's kind of worked out for both of us.
Yep.
Because he wanted to use their linebacker. I wanted a dominant defensive tackle because I know how good defensive tackles are.
He looks like he got a little bit of name recognition, though, because, I mean, his season doesn't really look that phenomenal. But, of course, when you got an inside stuff guy right beside you, you're not going to get too many TFLs. And
yeah, but he's a guy that he makes an impression because you know how the throw out of sacks are. I don't know how many times he gets a throw out of sack.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Like if that animation didn't exist, he'd probably have 12.
I hope next man that they have pressures as a stat. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, it'd be incredible. Asked for that so many times.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I think he definitely got some name recognition. Him and Rudolph should be swapped.
Yeah, I think so.
29, Chase Young, another edge.
Yep, 13 sacks for side X.
Mm-hmm. He's got no outsiders, which is pretty good for defensive.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that I wouldn't mind that as Myles Garrett's second ability with edge that for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Chase Young's probably doing something cheesy to get sacks because of sacks. Oh, Mustang.
Well, it's the NFC, so
who knows what goes on over there? Wild, Wild West.
Yeah. All right, only at 28. Adams. Only 28, Devontae Adams. So I think this is the Cooper effect because
definitely the Cooper effect.
Because Adams would have been probably top 10 easily any season, but this one
for sure. For sure.
And I think everyone knows about Adams at this point. So, so let's talk about Germs player Kenny Nwangwu, who's better than Adams, apparently.
He is. I mean, the league has spoken. Kenny Nwangwu.
So a nice little 96 speed.
Hopefully good ability soon.
Yep. Besides return man. Of course, then you won't have any more return touchdowns like you've been getting all season with Nwangwu. So
yeah. He gets he got the X Factor role, even though he was a return man. He returned kicks this year, and I actually ran with him less than I have the previous 2 seasons.
There you go.
But I also ran for more average. I think it's just because I passed the ball more.
Makes sense.
All right.
26. Another running back. This is Mr. Alvin Kamara, who really makes Brock's whole team gel, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Because you always have to account for Kamara on every play.
Kamara is I would rather Kamara. I'd rather you just hand it to him than me have to worry about him.
Yep.
In the passing game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just because you're like, oh shit, there he goes. I got to run out here, and then it gives up something in the middle.
Yep. Yeah, and he's almost running on a flat route or something quick over the middle almost every time because he's got the ability to destroy it. So
yeah, but he's very awesome all around running back.
Yep.
And Mustang was wondering how he's on the list because he farms touchdowns to crappy running back.
I know. It's true.
Scarborough. All right, 25. Your boy. You surprised here
Derek.
with Derek Carr sneaking in top 25?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I didn't
I
really
thought you
think.
might be surprised.
I kind of didn't expect him on here at all, just because he didn't really have any love for the last couple seasons. I mean, where he was with over in I think Johnny was using him for the last couple seasons, but Johnny's very balanced game, so he wasn't getting a lot of stats. So I didn't really think anybody would actually. Everyone kind of tends to focus on the receivers getting the ball as opposed to who's throwing them when you're in Cleveland, especially when the quarterback doesn't have any abilities. So I'm a little surprised he got this high. He had a great season, don't get me wrong. Like 40-20 was huge, even though he still lost out on the superstar role. But
yeah, I didn't look it up, but I'm sure there's only 2 or 3 people that had a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio.
Yeah.
And Tyron had a little write up there, said he had a career high. Good season for Mr. Carr. Yeah, I was pretty surprised he kept getting on the list too. I thought he would make it, but 25.
Well, the stats make him deserve to get on there.
Yep,
but
for sure.
And it was nice to have a player that doesn't throw a bunch of inaccurates. I'll have to say, because every quarterback
I've got one of those.
I know you do, because I traded him to you. But to be fair, he wasn't like super inaccurate when I traded him to you.
He wasn't super inaccurate last season or the season before. It was this season. I don't know what the hell happened.
But I did put Carr's rating up to ideal before the season started. So with a camp, and that definitely helped out a lot. So if anyone says it doesn't help, it does.
Oh yeah, that helps for sure. I believe somebody would say it don't help. All right, 24, and this is the guy that should be number 1.
I know. I'm not going to disagree with you that.
It's funny. This is the only one that I actually made I put the comment on there.
Most disruptive clutch defense player in AGS. Question: is that what you actually said yesterday, or was that?
No, I said that last week.
I remember you commented something about it yesterday or 2 days ago.
This I sent to myself a week ago, just so I could screenshot it and put it on here.
I think he's had more sacks in the playoffs than he did the entire season, because I know he had like 4 against me.
He had 2 against me, but it was just dropbacks where I had nobody open. I just stood there. I was like, well, I'm getting sacked because I've got nothing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, like, and it's a funny thing, like, because the finesse move for a defensive tackle is probably just as valuable as a power move is for an edge rusher. Yeah. Just because I think it's the opposite of what you're expecting in those spots. So,
he dominates me.
Would love to have him
every time. He dominates, and I swear to God, and I've watched him in other games too. There's something about him when third downs or clutch downs, where he makes a play. It's crazy. Crazy. 23.
Miles Jack.
I was a little surprised to see him this high.
Yeah, I definitely don't like him over Buckner. That's for sure. But again, Buckner's didn't have that great a season. It's just playoffs. He's been so dominant that it's hard to say. And yeah, Jack had a great season. You know, he got the TFLs, gets the deflections, and the Jaguar team. He makes it. He's the linebackers are the gorilla's strength.
Yeah, he's got
on his defense for sure.
Funny, he's got three awesome linebackers. The only one that didn't make it is Lurker.
Yep, I know. It's funny.
Oh, let's see.
All right.
Mr.
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram. And I couldn't stop this dude.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
I couldn't stop him. And I knew where the play was going. I was like, all right, here comes the drag. He always runs the drag in this situation. It was like 3rd and 4. And I still, I was chasing the drag, and I still somehow missed. And he's 30 yards.
Well, Evan Ingram has the ability with the for the tight end. What's it called? To your 4 extra routes. So
yeah,
and a couple of them are good because I have it with Kelsey.
That's one of the best ones for tight end.
It's pretty good. It's nice to have for sure. And so that's why Ingram, you could have a drag, or you could actually have the cross that comes in really nicely. So Ingram's he uses them well.
21.
Here's the other guy.
Look at his
taking
stats.
all of Wagner's stats. Woo!
Look only at his 5. Stats.
Yep. Look at him.
Crazy. 7 inch, 24 deflections, 7 forced fumbles.
7 forced fumbles. Jeez. I know you throw throw a flat to a halfback, and Jamal Adams is going to come and make you fumble. unless you have like a second to do something, you're gonna fumble the ball.
Yeah, he's a god.
Yeah. If only he was like that in reality for the true Seahawks, then life would be awesome.
Yeah, it seems like not a great trade at this point.
Yeah.
Number 20. You're old.
My old running back, Nick Chubb, definitely he's top 20. I guarantee you that. I probably would have beaten Affetto if I had Nick Chubb instead of Pritchett. Pritchett had a good game against Affetto. Like Pritchett had from games, but man, Nick Chubb, like you're gonna fall forward for 3 yards every time, more or less. He was so good. And that's what Mustang said. Otto fall forward for 5 yards. So why does he only have 5.7? It's true.
Yeah, Chubb was a god. 19. Jerry and Judy. Of course, Mustang would have something to say about me. Judy has taught Howard how to press bail with their because in that game, I obviously didn't know how to do that because I kept getting torched.
Yeah, Jerem was actually pressing like a good sim coach, and he was paying the price as Judy would just destroy him.
Oopsie daisy. Yeah, poor Judy's still stuck at star though. Him and Fant both stuck at star. 19 touchdowns isn't good enough, Judy. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, 50. That's what I mean. Like 54 catches for those yards. Like that's a fairly big yards per catch.
Yep, 19 touchdowns gets you to 19 overall, but it don't get you to superstar.
Nope.
All right, number 18.
Yeah,
this will be the highest he'll be on this list, I'm sure. He's probably retiring or going to somebody else.
Yep. And I think he was probably number 1 or number 2 last year, but and I mean, you look at those numbers. I mean,
yeah, look at his touchdown to int ratio.
Well, and you got to write gunslinger in there with the stats just because it's such a difference maker.
Yep.
Like you just watch this, he's gonna throw the ball, done.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Roger's gunslinger ability gets the ball out so fast, even COVID can't sack him.
Yep. Love it.
Number 17.
J.K. Dobbins.
The poor guy that wasn't even on the fantasy sheet.
Nope.
And then he got punished and can't even be devved.
Yeah, like I was saying, I think you knew what was going to happen at the end of the year. You had a vision, and so you didn't put him on the fantasy sheet just because you knew that we were going to be counting his stats this year.
So. Yep, must be. Oh,
Tyrant had a nice little write-up.
Yep, good write-up.
Yep, good write-up. We don't need to see it.
I don't need to read a whole paragraph, sorry.
Number 16, Brian Bird's edge. Really, an edge player got this high. That's impressive.
I was surprised he got so high, too. But, I mean, I think he was the sack leader.
It would make sense. 14 and a half sacks.
And under pressure is a good one.
Oh, it's fantastic. I traded for Cameron Jordan as a 1-year rental this year in hopes of getting to the Super Bowl. That clearly didn't work out like I planned because he had edge threat elite, which is a combination of edge threat and under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped. Like I'll tell you, I got a lot of inaccurate throws from that. So
and that's what Vita Vea has.
Yeah,
so that's where a lot of his
so you never see you never see it. So makes sense. Brian Warren's coach won't even know he made this.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It's very true.
Oh, number 15, Mr. Mims.
Mr. Mims, probably the most devved player in history, because I think he got devved last year too. And because he always starts out with really bad stats, and then suddenly he becomes a god.
He is a god. 21 touchdowns. I think that was the most, right?
And I kind of hope the comment here would be something about Pax talking about his 99 catch in traffic, because
I did have to put it in there. It's stupid that he has 99 catch in traffic, and he got it so early because he had that freaking God story.
Yep. So, because I think Pax, when trying to trade him, he basically talked about that at least 10 times. Was what we had figured out.
He's actually was he already X Factor?
Released too. Oh, jeez. No, he is. He might be X Factor now. I don't
know if he got the thing, but he was Superstar.
Yeah.
Anyways, Number 14. The other safety.
Yep, Marcus Williams. He's the good one. He's the one that makes Gardner Johnson get as much, but that's definitely the best safety duo in the league.
I think that's bullshit that Brock gets Williams and Johnson. I agree.
Yep.
The pain in the ass to play somebody that has Lattimore and 2 superstar safeties, which is now the same for you, who now have 4 superstars on the back end.
Well, for now.
Oh my god, here we go again.
I gotta like tell us, hey, things can change.
Some jerk's going to end up trading something godly for a safety that you're going to just dev up the next guy anyways.
Well, at this point with 2 seasons left, like I don't have any star safeties in the wings, so there's nobody I can dev up. If that was happening.
I'm sure if you won't acquire one.
I very well might not.
Okay.
It's not in the plan. It's not in the plan. I plan, if I trade one of my safeties, I plan to use one of the safeties I currently have on my roster. So that's all.
I'm sure he only has 93 speed, right?
Who? The one of the current ones on my roster?
Yeah.
Oh, they might only be 92. Might only be 92.
Oh god.
Number 13.
Daniel Jones, 5,200 yards, leads the league. I didn't even put his attributes on here because they're not even great. I just put his stats.
Yep, the stats is all that matters.
And he might have one of the best faces on here. He looks identical to Daniel Jones.
I know. It's awesome.
I can feel him staring into my eyes.
Yeah. Pink knows how to throw with this guy. Not only Evan Ingram, but Kadarius Toney probably. Honestly, I think Toney might have even should have cracked the top 100 with how much work he got. But
what was my trade with Daniel Jones? I was going to get Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
it got vetoed, the trade that I was going to do. I can't remember what it was now.
Well, that's good.
Who was I trying to get?
I don't know. Was that before you got Baker?
No, it was after. I was trading him Baker, I think. I don't know. I'll have to look in the archives, but I can't remember what it was. Number 12, Tony Pollard.
Yep. So basically, he became Flappy's team once he had lost Cooper. Took him a little while to adjust, and when he did, Pollard became probably the MVP of that team for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's going to be MVP next season. He's going to crack the top 10 next season for sure.
Must think, but even Pollard wants Cooper back.
Yeah, even Pollard wants Cooper. Yeah.
Speaking of Cooper, number 11.
Number 11, Amari Cooper. Yep.
Great season.
And unfortunately, neither Cooper or Adams could crack the top 10 because they kind of like each helped each other get where they were. So if you have one of them dominating the way that they are, then they'd probably have made it.
Still proving why he's better than Donald. It's funny, I almost had Cooper too. Me and Flap almost did a trade.
Well, and the sad thing is, Aaron Donald, I'm assuming, isn't on this list at all. If we didn't talk about him already,
I think that's a safe assumption. Aaron Donald is not.
I'm going to assume Aaron Donald's not in the top 10, so that's pretty tough to have Aaron Donald. It kind of tells you everything that's wrong with Madden in its current iteration. Is that Aaron Donald did not even crack our top 100 players, which is just sad.
Pretty sad. Top 10. Here we go.
All right.
Number 10, your boy.
Denzel Ward.
You should like the comments on that one.
Fuck Denzel Ward.
Me and Gorilla decided to team up on that one.
Was this after like you guys both had the... Yeah, okay, so...
This was after.
This happened after they both...
The bubble screens.
The bubble... We'll call you two the bubble screen bros.
Yeah, bubble bros.
Bubble bros. So he got the... pick sixes on both of them.
Yeah, and his tributes
will live on forever.
Abilities, he's basically the perfect corner.
Yeah, even with the now public knowledge of we'll call it not press bail, but what's the other terminology for it that's nicer? I don't remember.
I don't know. I thought it was press bell.
Show blitz. Let's just call it show blitz.
I don't think anybody does show blitz though.
Even with that, there's not one player in the league I would trade Denzel Ward for.
Yep, he's a god. Don't know if I agree with it, but I'm not going to disagree with it.
Yep.
Number 9, Clifford Franklin, Mr. Star.
The only 99 speed player in the league. I believe.
He had an incredible season. Crazy yards after catch.
Yep. Oh, he was huge for Johnny, and Johnny was not very impressed. He did not, or did he make superstar as well? I don't think he did.
He had 2 defensive players make it, but he did not.
But he's 99 speed, and he's the only one in the league that is. So
yeah, I mean, yeah,
you have that.
Yep. Oh, and poor Clifford. He did dev up, but it'll be reversed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he got spin cycle.
Oh, beautiful.
All right. Oh, and Franklin's so cheesy with speed. They had to make him change his name.
Right. I love it.
Number 8, your boy, Anthony Schwartz.
Speaking of speedy cheese.
Route running don't matter because fast. 1,700 yards, 18 touchdowns.
Yep. He and I did not pick him in fantasy. And he still had a good season.
Mustang, but Schwartz didn't get forced past the superstar. He was just the best receiver.
On the roster.
That's the.
I think that was always a quote. Goms. That might have been a Gom quote.
That was for sure a quote.
Yeah, he had a good season, but he sucks in the playoffs. So
that's his life. That's his life when you run into a feta.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 7, Chris Godwin. I put doesn't like to play in the playoffs because he was hurt.
Godwin, yeah. And it's funny because I did not even know when I beat Gorilla that Godwin wasn't in there. I just kept looking.
You didn't know he wasn't playing the whole game?
I didn't know the entire game. I was like, I kept looking on these little yellow uniforms. I'm like, where the heck am I just not seeing the star? Is it just,
I figured you would have
got him benched.
Picked up on it at some point.
I kind of figured out like at the halfway through, I'm like, maybe Godwin isn't playing. And Gorilla still was up on me at halftime. So if I'd known, I probably would have been way more confident going into the game too.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, number 6, Deshaun
Watson. So I think I'm going to be right about this offensive. My guess about offense being higher, at least definitely in the top part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're seeing a lot of offensive players.
There was 56 offensive players, 44
defense. Nailed it. Watson's arm is so tired from throwing drags and sleds, he has to get massages every day. Love it.
And I put on there not as good as Tressway.
That's true.
But yeah, Sinex is one of the best passers in the league, and then Deshaun Watson is already awesome, so the combo is incredible.
Yep. I know.
Number 5, back-to-back quarterbacks.
Did his playoff little snafu keep him out of the top 5? Were the votes in by that point?
Votes were in already. Okay. Everything was done before playoffs. And Mustang did send me a new quote, though. After our game, Wilson's arm is too strong for snow.
His arm is too strong. I broke his leg in the last snow game, so.
And he didn't throw nearly as much, but I mean, 73%. When you have an offensive line like he has, and the 2 weapons he has, he doesn't need to force passes. And I honestly think that's what kind of got him in trouble against me was he went back to old air raid packs, and where we were in the snow, it just he wasn't accurate. So whenever I went over a couple scores, he went to air raid packs, and it was just everything went to hell. But
and I blame a lot of us in the league for this happening this year, because if you remember last year, Pax was saying had lost his mind because he kept getting sacked, going, how are all these offensive linemen letting me get sacked? Everything's broke. Madden's broken. Like blocking doesn't work. All this, and then we taught him about how a pocket works, and then now he actually knows how to use these 5 offensive line to actually stay in the pocket, and this is the result: Zach Wilson becoming a dominant force and him going undefeated in the regular season. So I blame a lot of us for giving him that insight that he shouldn't back up 20 or 15 yards off the snap, because then the edge rushers will just get around to you. So, whoops.
Yep. And but Zach Wilson, incredible. Probably, well, I mean, if you take away Mahomes, he's the best. He's the best quarterback in the game besides Mahomes.
Yep. Yeah.
97 throw power. His accuracy is crazy.
Yeah.
Axe, of course, is very, very, very good passing the ball unless he's in the snow.
Yep, no surprise for him being.
I think I lost you. I can't hear your audio.
Yep, I had some in my flailing around. I clicked the
too much
mute button.
Too much flailing. All right, so, number 4.
George
Kittle.
Kittle. If only he'd made the Super Bowl. But once in a while, he can't make a Super Bowl, apparently. So
he does always get the championship games, though. Okay.
Yeah. And he was the best tight end stat-wise this year. So not a surprise.
He definitely made me have more fun, regardless of what happened at the end.
Yep. Just knowing that you could shoot that out route with Kittle again, probably just felt like nostalgia all over again. Just like, I'm winning a Super Bowl every time you threw it. Because that's usually what happened when you threw those.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Pax put a Jordan quote on there.
Yeah.
Prophecy for George. All right. Yeah. Goodbye, George. Happy he made it all the way to number 4, probably because I don't ever stop talking about him.
Yep, and he's not playing in the Super Bowl because the guy number 3.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor. He ran for about 300 yards against me. Still wasn't tired. Proceeded to run a whole bunch against Germ. Best runner in the game. Thought he was this perfectly. It's just crazy.
He is the perfect specimen. It's the same as last man. Whenever
100 God. No doubt about it.
Yep. And Tyrant put a nice little write-up in there about him. So who do you think is number 2?
Well, I know Mahomes is going to be one of them.
Oh.
And I think the other one's probably going to be Fred Warner, just because I got to figure we have to see him at this point because.
Well, number 2 is Mr. Warner. Fred Warner, number 2.
So Warner was number 2.
Fred Warner, in the best season I'll ever have in AGS, Fred Warner took me to church on a Sunday and lurked over me as he had me confess my sins. Mike says, don't throw over the middle to Fred.
Wait. Oh, I bet you Mahomes isn't even in here.
Fred?
Think about it. Because I know the other guy who should be in here is a defensive player. And he has to be. Yeah. Well, now that I think about the list, I don't even remember you having Mahomes there. So.
Yeah, Mahomes is not on the top 100. Mahomes and Aaron Donald are not.
Well, I know who number 1 is. So that's fine.
So mid-zone KO, lurker, 99 overall, 88 zone for the linebackers, freaking insane. 25 tackles for loss, 16 deflections, 10 ints. Fred, if you really look at all 3 years, he's probably got the best stats of anybody. Thinking about it, he probably does.
Against Velody, like he basically could get a TFL at will, and the lurker could he killed me in our season game this year. Just destroyed me, because I would throw something that was like I thought it was like a deep out, and he would pick it off like 20 yards short. I'm just like, what? Seriously? It's so demoralizing.
So number 2 and number 1,
Micah Parsons. It has to be
Parsons. It is Micah Parsons.
Yep. So so the number 1 player is a pass rusher, kind of.
Not really. That's the thing. He's a hybrid. That's what we put on there. He's a God hybrid linebacker. Micah Parsons is broken. Guy doesn't need to have good technique or explosive pass rush moves. He just runs around my freaking tackle. Got to be number 1. That's what Pink said. And he was indeed number 1.
Yep, he's got to be.
18 tackles for loss, 14 sacks, 6 ints, 10 deflections, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's basically the guy that when we do our stat downloads, like that, he's the number 1 guy for the edge, and he's the number 1 guy at the coverage. Yeah. Like he wins both of them.
94 speed.
Ugh.
Linebacker that can edge rush. Insane.
I know.
And
maybe that's the problem. Maybe we need to bump all of our pass rushers up by 10 speed to give us a pass rush again. Isn't that a solid idea? Like just bump up every defensive end and every edge rusher in the game by 10 speed, and we would have.
We need to just take away an offensive lineman. Only have 4 starting linemen.
I still think that's a great idea. Bump everyone up by 10 speed. We would have the pass rush we've been craving.
Even then, when Brian Burns has like 91 speed and he had 14.
Yeah, well, I know, but think about it. If you got everybody in the league 90 speed or higher on the edge, it's gonna be fun.
Yep, but that's the top 100.
Yeah.
Any let me see if I got my thing over here.
I do find it really, like, the fact that Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Donald are both not in the top 100 really kind of just tells you, like, that it is important who's using it. And honestly, I would suspect that VBank is probably going to have a much better season with Mahomes next year. Donald is screwed no matter where he is, just because Madden's stupid. But
VBank's a little bit in my mold, like me and Affetto and Soup, where we run the ball and play defense. So I don't think he's ever going to have a big year, but yeah, he should. I mean, he had more instant touchdowns with Mahomes, so do better, VBank. Do better.
And I don't remember if Mahomes' contract is the same as last Madden, because I had Mahomes last Madden, and I know that after 3 or 4 seasons, his contract goes to the spot where you don't have a penalty anymore. Like, you actually have a couple of his last seasons on his contract were penalty free, and so you could trade him. And if I was VBank and that exists now, I would 100% trade Mahomes for a massive package of defense and offense, because you can get it. He's basically, him and Lamar are the two players you could probably trade for a whack load of talent that would make your team like a god team, like when MHG traded Lamar. And you could trade Mahomes, and VBank would probably put him over the top, because he's clearly, like, Mahomes isn't using him that much right now if he's not even cracking the top 100, and he still made the playoffs. So I can just imagine what VBank would do if he traded Mahomes, got a huge haul for him. He'd probably become one of the next AFC greats, I think.
Yep. So a few little facts here. We have 56 offense, 44 defense on the top 100. Who had more, AFC or NFC?
AFC.
AFC has 55, NFC 45.
AFC rules, buddy.
What position had the most?
I'm gonna say halfback.
Yep, running back had 18, receivers had 14, and then it was pretty even the rest of the way. There was 10 quarterbacks, 10 corners, 12 linebackers, 10 safeties, 9 linemen. So everything else, I liked how everything kind of evened out.
That's good.
5 tight ends, 12 total D linemen. So, 3 different people had 8. Those are the most. Me and you were 2 of those, and Pax was the other. And
good for us.
The poor 5 that didn't, big shock, none of them made the playoffs. The Bills, Texans, Cardinals, Bears, and then one surprise, which if you think about his roster, it's not really a surprise, but he did almost make the playoffs, and that's the Lions. He didn't have a top 100 guy.
Well, a lot of those, there's some sims on some of those players. Like, I know Try had a few
he definitely
losses.
Had some sims.
Same with MG, because I think Kyler Murray would, if he played a full season he would have Kyler Murray in the top. Even Isabella, I think, would have cracked it.
Yeah, the division with the most was the AFC North with 18. AFC East had 17. NFC South had 17. And then the poor NFC North had the least. They only had 7. And I think 6 of them were Packers.
Good old Packers.
That stupid NFC North.
I know.
Y'all got to get better, NFC North.
Take them down, boys.
Then some of the names I just jot down some of the names that didn't make it. Mahomes, one really surprising one. Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
18 running backs made the top 100. That tells you how bad Skittles was this season. That 18 running backs made the top 100, and Derrick Henry wasn't one of them.
Well, same thing. I think Skittle missed a few games as well. So
yeah,
you miss a couple of games, and that's all that matters when running is as powerful as it is.
Yeah,
you can't have those sims, because you're not going to get a very good sim game, especially if it's a forced loss.
Some of the other best players that didn't make it, like best overall wise, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Donald, Buda Baker, Tyreek Hill. There's a big one.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's Tyreek Holmes, poor Chiefs offense didn't do much.
Tre'Davious White, I feel like he should be on the game or on the top 100.
Yeah,
just because
you probably didn't throw at him.
Any elite corners should be on here because I play him twice a year and I don't throw at him.
Yep.
Nick Bosa, T.J. Watt, and that's edge rushers that don't get enough stats. Then there's a slew of other guys. Michael Thomas, Jonathan Allen is an inside stuff guy that didn't make it.
Yeah, same with my inside stuff guy.
Yeah,
what's
Grady
his face?
Jarrett.
Grady Jarrett.
Yep. Stephon Gilmore's a really good corner still. He didn't make it. Xavier Howard didn't make it. Mark Andrews. I actually put Mark Andrews on my list and he didn't make it.
I do like that people didn't give recognition to the deflection cornerbacks that debbed. You don't see either of Pax's corners were on the list.
Fuller did make it. Fuller made it.
Okay, Fuller made it. Yep.
Carter didn't make it though.
I thought Carter had the better season, didn't he?
Fuller had 33 deflections. I think Carter had right around that.
Oh, I think
they both had more than Noah.
Yeah, Noah Igby.
Noah Igby. Noah Igby.
Yep.
But that is that's it. So that was the top 100. Hope everybody enjoyed the top 100.
Thanks everyone for their participation on this too.
Yeah, big thanks because I think I ended up with around 60 forms after because I kept having to redo them, like adding like different choices,
tiebreakers, all that fun.
I think in the initial one I ended up with like 17 or 18, and I ended up with over 140 total players to choose from.
Yeah,
which was good.
I would say if you do this next year, which you might, you never know.
I don't think I'm gonna do one next year, but I'm gonna do one probably for the final at the end of the Madden for the total Madden run.
Yeah, that's a good one for the total one. I would say develop a nice sheet that's already finalized, so you don't have to keep sending out new ones.
Yeah. Well, it was just because everybody was tired.
I already built this in Germ.
Yeah, it's where everybody was like tied, so I had to keep sending them out. I had like 20 people that were tied with like 4 points or 6 points or something like that.
Yeah, you have to develop a new thing, like to have them all, like put a little rankings of them, so that you can have little tiebreakers, give them a point total or something.
Yeah,
rather than putting just top 10.
Well, that's what I did before. I'd actually put like 20 quarterbacks, and then I'd even put their stats beside it. It would just take so long to do.
I know. Yeah, it would be a lot of work.
I put a lot of time into this.
Well, in that last season, you're going to be like striving for a Super Bowl, so you might not have that much time. We'll see.
Well, I'll probably do it after the whole thing's over anyway, because we're going to have downtime.
Yeah, we'll have a little bit of downtime. That'll be a good time to do it. Keep everyone fresh.
Wrap up for the whole Madden.
Yep.
But anyways, hope everybody enjoys top 100. I don't know if anybody will be surprised that Parsons was number. Well, some people will be, because when I put that in the. I put that on the Germ Vegas on the last Germ Vegas for the season. I put who do you think is going to be number one? Well, I think 3 people guessed. I think you were one of the ones that guessed Parsons correctly.
What do I win?
You won 20 Germ Vegas dollars for getting that right. Oops. And then you didn't spend them wisely and you lost.
That's true.
Where is
all from that 1 inch? At 1 inch.
If you would have got the defensive touchdown, you would have won.
I know.
Because and not just because of the first score, but you also would have won. You was the only one that put the defensive touchdown.
Yeah. Damn it.
So you would have won.
Yeah. I watched that happen too. I'm like watching him trudge and getting tackled and pushing his way forward and reaching. I'm like, you can do it. And he did.
Yeah. So 3 people guessed Parsons. 1 guessed DK. 2 guessed Zach Wilson, which was up there.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's a good guess.
1 guessed Godwin, and Godwin was up there. I think that was just because of the promotion going on from Gorilla. And then 1 said Aaron Rodgers, which
I like it.
Solid guess.
Good guess.
He ended up in
the
top 12 or whatever.
Yep.
But anyways, that is all. You got anything else?
No, I think that will wrap this up nicely.
Hopefully we have a good Super Bowl.
Yeah, everyone appreciates that top 100. Germ did a lot of work on that one. And looking forward to the Super Bowl. We'll see. Hopefully I didn't curse a Feto, or hopefully I did curse a Feto. Do I hope?
Yeah, who really cares? Who really? I mean, he done broke both of our hearts at this point.
He broke our hearts, and like we're younger than him, so it's not nice to break hearts of people younger than you.
He does. Well, he does need to win a championship though before it's too late.
It is true.
Before he rides off into the sunset. Before we give him a Viking burial and shoot arrows at us.
Yeah, that is true. That would be nice. So we'll see if Soup allows that, or if he's just gonna keep smoking that cigar and rub it out on a Feto's body.
One last thing though, if a Feto does win, he has promised.
That's true.
The reveal on the OG.
We will see the face cam if a Feto wins, so we know that everyone's going to be cheering for a Feto now.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. I think we've only seen like one picture of Soup. Maybe we could also see if Soup wants to get on board with it.
I think that seems to be we'll have to try that. The winner gets to be on OG. So
I think it's a good idea.
I like it.
All right, it's a good season. Good luck to Feto and Soup tonight.
Yep.
By the time they see this, it will be tonight.
It will be.
And good talking to you, buddy.
Yep, good talking. Later.
See ya.